Well, I'm here with a load of Dutchmen. I'm not sure whether they want to look at trees or drink English coffee. I'm not sure about that, but we're actually standing here. They're on a visit, and we're actually standing here at one of the oldest trees we've got in Windsor Great Park, which is in Berkshire, which is only something like 30 kilometres from the centre of London. Can you believe it? I know you can probably hear the cars too. Lovely weather in England, by the way, tell the Dutch, come to England to get the suntans. But behind me is, as we say, one of our oldest, probably one of our oldest trees. I'm saying that because of the width or the girth of it. But many years ago, somebody came here, and they're called dendrologists, and they tried to age it. But of course, it was very difficult to age because it's hollow. But they managed to get down inside, and in the debris in the bottom of the hollow tree, they managed to get some pieces of wood which were from the old root system, which was breaking down and decaying away. And they said by carbon dating that it was around 1,000 years old. Then I had the top dendrologist in our country. He came to Windsor, and I went out with him for 2 days, and we measured lots of oak trees, from young trees to big trees. And also we knew some of the planting dates of when these trees had been put in. And eventually he came back to me, having punched it all in his little computer, and said that he thought this tree was over 1,000 years old, done based on his calculations. And after he'd gone, I found another tree here which I knew the age of, which was about 400 years old, and he was only 30 years out. So and it's called the theoretical age of these trees. The other thing is that we've just been discussing it, but this tree has got a huge limb on it, very low down. And I think we've all agreed that that limb has been on the tree since it was a small tree, and therefore in those days, because oak is what we call a light demanding tree, it doesn't like the shade, it means that this tree was grown in the open for all its life. So for 1,000 years this tree has been in the open. What's happened recently is that the old wooden props have been taken away and these metal ones have been put in to support it, because I believe that we should look after our old trees. Nobody would argue that we should not look after our old buildings. So if we can look after our old buildings and art treasures and whatever and spend money on them, then what's wrong with spending money on our old trees? Now, in the discussion about how we were going to prop it, what I like the idea, and it's not happened, was that these could be bent. And then you can buy or manufacture something like a bark, an imitation bark, and put it on them to make it look very natural. At the moment, this looks, I think, very, very man-interfered with. So hopefully I can talk them into putting some plastic bark around these poles and not and so you don't see it so naturally. And equally, of course, we're going to put up an information board. But what we want to do really is to get the new young prince to be here to commemorate the old tree. And I think once we can get the young prince on board, yes, we're away.
You took away the grass and put in some moss?
No, in actual fact, no. This has been dumped on the grass.
Okay.
The prime reason originally was to stop vehicles, because even the people that were doing the new props were actually driving under the tree. And you think, yeah, well, but if you look, you can see the moles are already busy, which means if the moles are busy, the worms are busy, so they're aerating the soil. So it's a win-win. And already we have taken some cuttings from this tree and we're trying to do grafting, because whilst it's very nice to get acorns, when you do take an acorn you only get half the parent because it's been pollinated from some other tree. But if you get the cuttings, we're getting the true gene bank of a 1,000-year-old oak. And let's face it, if we're talking about genes, this has seen one mini ice age, it's seen several droughts, and now you know about round here we only have 60 centimetres or 30 centimetres of rainfall, so it's basically desert. So if we're looking at climate change and we're looking for oaks that are going to be able to respond genetically to climate change, then this may well be one of the trees that's the answer.